Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are and when you are viewing this. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. Today's topic is, let's see if you saw the thumbnail. I don't like the word cheat. But that's what a lot of people call these things, cheat meals, cheat days. Let's talk about that. First, if you are new here, I will briefly tell you how I learned and how I've practiced the ketogenic protocol for now approaching 11 years. We're really close to it because I started January 8th, 2014. So we're just about 10 days away from 11 years. I had given up on losing weight. I'd been overweight, obese, morbidly obese from my mid-20s to my mid-50s. I tried all the stuff. You can go to my blog, link below, caseydurango.com, and see some photographs of my Move More, Eat Less efforts. Those were not photographs at my heaviest weight. But I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. So I Googled how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes because I knew that was coming up. And I came across the white coat video of Dr. Eric Westman from Duke University. And it was keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer, total carbs, not net carbs. If it's not on page 4, if you've never heard Dr. Westman, he's very calm. If it's not on page 4, and I add link below, don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. Actually, I think what his video says is eat if you're hungry. And I think I just kind of morphed that a little bit for my own purposes. Don't eat if you're not hungry and stop eating when you've had enough. I've definitely added be patient and persevere. So that's it. And I give credit to Dr. Westman in the thumbnail. HT, for those of you who don't know, means hat tip to Dr. Eric Westman for the cheat days becoming cheat weeks, becoming cheat months. If you are a person who has no issues with food, with overeating food or that do not serve us well, then you're probably listening to my I who I had a bad relationship with food for a long time. And I used most of the excuses. They are excuses that a lot of people have used. If you watch an episode of My 600-Pound Life, almost all of the people who are Dr. Now's patients say the same things we have said to ourselves. And one of them, actually, I just saw an episode where a woman who was Dr. Now's patient and her friend, who was an enabler, both very, very heavy people, they'd been doing it and they ordered takeout and had it delivered. And they said, we've been good all week. We deserve a cheat meal. Now, where do we think that's going to end up? And it's challenging, particularly this time of year, right? Food's everywhere. And food has become just totally enmeshed with every kind of holiday and every event. There are even, marketing restaurant chains. There's one I'm thinking of who part of their promotion was come to us for your cheat meal, maybe 2. Okay, so we say, and cheat sounds like kind of a cute little word. I'm just cheating. I'm having a little cheat. I don't like the word cheat because it's not a sin and it's not a crime and you're not taking the answer off of someone else's algebra test. That's cheating. It's a food decision. Oh, thank you. I can see out of my peripheral vision the little floaties. Thank you. I really appreciate it. But here's my thinking that I can remember from back in the day. Because I tried to move more, eat less, low fat, blah, blah, blah. So you have I'm just going to have a little slice, a little treat because I've been so good. And then so you have whatever that might be. I have more of a salt tooth than a sweet tooth, but I like it all. So say it's um what if it's a fistful of Chex Mix during the holiday season? And I just have some. And then have a little bit more because it's light and it's probably low fat. And I'll have just a little bit more. And then, an hour later, well, I blew that. I've blown it for today. I might as well just go ahead and I'll have a slice of cake. And then you wake up the next day and say, well, I blew the week. I'll go ahead and start again on Monday. Or, maybe it's only October and you say, I'll start on January 1st. That's how these things happen. And yes, we're adults and we should be able to say no, no, thank you. And I have said no, no, thank you firmly. I don't keep Chex Mix in my house. I don't keep peanut butter in my house. And I have to be careful with mashed cauliflower because I don't want to fight with myself about food anymore. It's not that I am not strong enough. I am stronger than a cookie. I am stronger than Chex Mix. I am stronger than peanut butter and mashed cauliflower. I just don't want to argue with my brain anymore about food. And once you kind of tip over, then you start to feel defeated, self-defeated. Then you start to feel like a failure. It's also not a failure. It's not a sin. It's not a crime. It's a choice about food. As a matter of fact, my postcard that I'm getting ready to send out to certain patrons, that's exactly what it says. You're not a failure. And it's not a crime and it's not a sin. It's a food choice. Let's just make the best ones. Or something like that. I can't remember. I like designing them, but the thought goes right out of my head. So perhaps, we're the weekend after Christmas and we've already been through Thanksgiving and Halloween. So maybe the Christmas thing, we won't call it a cheat. Maybe there was just food decisions that don't serve you well. Don't say, well, I'll just put it off. I'll start again on Monday. Or, well, that would be close to January 1st. We're getting close to the new year. You don't have to wait to stop the train. Don't let it go from a cheat meal to a cheat day to a cheat week to a cheat month. Stop right now. If you kind of stumbled, and hopefully you didn't, and you're feeling strong and victorious. Maybe this is your first holiday without having turned to all the food on the buffet. I know the first holiday season I got through, and I felt like Wonder Woman with my, had my cuffs to deflect. Bing, boom, pow! Get away from me, candy corn. But if you didn't, don't wait to just next time you put food in your mouth, lay off the carbs. That's it. That's it. So that's really just kind of, I've been there. I've done that many times. If I can do this, you can do this. I promise. I promise. And to that end, I want to turn to all the lovely people here and share your stories. How have you been through this holiday season? And it's, again, not a sin, not a crime, not a failing, not a character defect. It's just food that we eat that maybe we shouldn't. Some people can eat whatever they want and be thin and happy and healthy. We're happy for them, usually. We try to be generous of spirit. Because let's face it, those happy, thin, healthy people who can eat whatever they want, they've got something in their life that is not 100% perfect. We all do. It's just when we're overweight, people can kind of see our issues right away. Okay, moving on to something more positive. I do want to say you don't have to buy one thing to be 100% successful at this protocol. We're coming to the time of year where food delivery services are pushing pretty hard and people are selling meal plans. I will never do that. Maybe one of these days I will write a blog post on that. By the way, thank you for those of you who are tuning into my blog. I've been writing more recently, and they're quick reads as a rule, and it really is very gratifying. So thank you so much. But why I will never and have never, even though my husband suggested that I create meal plans for people when I first started. There's a reason. But anyway, it's that time of year. Everyone's going to join the gym. Everyone's going to get the thing. They're going to join the whatever. They're going to sign up for you don't do whatever works for you. Absolutely. And there's no reason to not exercise. I mean, walking is totally fine. What was I going to say? There was something. Oh, but you don't have to buy. There no supplements are going to work. I mean, they will work to spend your money. That's what they will do. There's no product that will kick you into ketosis. Exogenous ketones, they're exogenous ketones that you're drinking and then going to eliminate. We want to produce our own ketones by burning fat for fuel. So anywho, but I will happily sell you a mug or a t-shirt link below. And I don't think I've ever read this before. I have this green book. And some people may find it's a 12-month journal, but it's undated. So you can start anytime. I don't think I've ever read what's on the back. There are quotes in the book. And then there's trackers and coloring pages and talking about cheat meals, cheat days, cheat weeks, cheat months. Here's a quote. Many of life's failures, and I don't like that word either, but it's the word used. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. That's the definition of a cheat meal. That's Thomas Edison. He said that. But on the back here of the book, there's my silly memoji and my signature. I wrote, life is change, and change comes one moment, one decision, 1 hour at a time. An excellent way to monitor change is to track it. This book may help you do that. Make the pages your own. Track, record, measure, whatever works for you. You can see my story at my blog, complete with photos of my previous self. I changed my life, and if I can do this, you can do this. I promise. Thumbs up. So the great thing about keto is you don't have to buy anything. Just lay off the carbs. I have a mug you can buy. I laid off the carbs and laid off the excuses. And watch an episode of My 600-Pound Life and see if some of the things that these poor people are not what we've said. So lecture over. Let me see who else here. Thank you for showing up. Really, really like it. And it's a holiday week, so I'm impressed. I'm going to jump in here and see. I'm going to just take them as they come. Maria Belwa. Hi, Casey. With love, all the way from Tanzania. I think you're the first person to say they're from Tanzania. Whoa, that is very exciting. Can you share, Maria, is following a low carb ketogenic protocol difficult to do in Tanzania? I mean, every country kind of has their stuff. We just got back from Colombia, where rice and beans and patacones and arepas, so delicious, and pan de bono and pan de queso, and papas and all that stuff. But we were absolutely able to do it. My husband is from Colombia, and if he can do this, you can do this. Judy Dulledge, good morning, everyone. And Cynthia, good morning, Casey and Keto friends. Happy holidays. Be safe and healthy from Williamsburg, Virginia. What a great place that is. Colleen Sproul, good morning. It's almost 50 degrees today in mid-Michigan. Wow. So you're warmer than we are. Wow. We're in North Carolina. Steph, good morning. And EH8489, I wasn't notified of your live. When did this start? Okay. Make sure, here's the thing. Thank you for bringing this up. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure the bell notification is turned on, and you can set those notifications. And sometimes YouTube will just decide, we're going to decide what to notify you of, but you can do it to notify me of everything. Then on your device, make sure that you allow notifications from YouTube. There's a lot of steps in there. Suzanne Botts. Hey, Suzanne, you were tracking. 10 Eastern Standard Time. Oh, yes, it started at 10. I try to do this consistently at 10 a.m. Eastern every Saturday morning. Thank you, Suzanne. Good morning to everyone. Nancy Fleeks. Yep, said all those things, ate the wrong things. How do you turn it around? One mouthful at a time. Seriously. One decision, one moment. You don't have to wait for a milestone. Just the next time you eat, lay off the carbs. And I didn't lay off the carbs. When I started this, and it was Dr. Westman saying, keep your carbs to 20 grams or fewer, total, not net. I poke fun at him about his very mild demeanor. To his face, I've poked fun at him. So it was like mid-morning, I think on a Wednesday. And I said, and I knew low carb worked for me since 1977. Huh. So what I did that day was I just said, okay, and I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't tell my husband about it. Didn't tell my kids I was doing it. Didn't tell my friends. I just ate food, but not the carbs. If it was not on page 4, which page 4, you don't need a food list, but some people like it. And if you get Dr. Westman's page 4, the link is below. Any proceeds he gets from that, he actually puts into little clinical trials and studies and things. He copyrighted it because there were a lot of bootleg copies of so-called page 4 that had things like figs and quinoa. Then no. Okay, so what's on page 4? Fatty sources of protein, essentially animal product, and the fat that comes with that particular animal. What does that mean? Yolks with the eggs, poultry with the skin, and that's the best part, isn't it? Steak with the band of fat. You don't have to get the leanest ground beef. Pork chops with the fat, et cetera, et cetera. Eat the fat that comes with the meat or the animal product. So fatty sources of protein, limited amounts of non-starchy vegetables. That is about a cup before being cooked of non-starchy vegetables, maximum. So it's about the size of your fist. About 2 cups maximum of leafy greens a day before being cooked. So not 2 cups of cooked spinach. And then limited amounts of full-fat dairy if you want. But the vegetables are not required. The dairy is not required. What in the world was that? We got some critters outside making some noise. So the next time I ate, I would have broccoli with my ribeye, and I'd have ranch dressing. I have just gotten to the point now, nearly 11 years later, where I eat much less food than I ever have, and less than I ate a year and a half ago, much less than I did 10 years ago when I was doing keto. So as I've eaten less food, I'm always going to default to eating the fatty source of protein first. And then if I follow the protocol and stop eating when I've had enough, I may not get to the vegetables. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but they are limited. So if you follow the 1 cup a day maximum of non-starchies and 2 cups a day of leafy greens, that will get you to about 10 or 12 grams of carbohydrate. That's where the carbs come from. There's carb in everything that humans consume, just very limited amounts of carbohydrate in animal product and very limited amounts of fat and protein in plant product. So find what works for you. But the way you turn it around is the next time you put food in your mouth, lay off the carbs. EH8489, I always start with the next meal. Next meal, lay off the carbs. Doc Shungal, by the way, thank you for the Christmas card. Really appreciate it. Good morning to all. Suzanne and Judy. I have a private support group on Patreon, link below, and there are some patrons here. By the way, there's a free trial if you're interested in checking out for 7 days. I do pre-recorded videos about 15, 20 minutes long every weekday morning, except Christmas. I didn't do one. Snippet took a holiday. And you can see the link, free trial for 7 days. If you like it, you can stay, and if you don't, you won't. Cynthia writes, I got many compliments during the holidays. That was my best gift ever to myself. Also, they know how I did it, so I was trying to set a good example. I had Asti 4 glasses and ham made with brown sugar. Were you able to do The ham with the brown sugar? Because I wouldn't. That would, whew, I would go. Whoosh. By the way, I've been asked, I measure usually once a week by the Keto Mojo. If you go to my blog, you can see a link to the Keto Mojo. It's a product I use and I like. Once a week, I usually test. It's a blood glucometer. My average over the course of all these years I've been testing, my glucose average is 72 and my ketones average about 2, I think it's 2.3 or 2.5. Colleen Sproul, consistency is the secret to my success. I avoid fighting with myself as a rest. Doris Komisarek, and thank you for your holiday card as well, Doris. Good morning, all. Keep up the amazing ways to a healthy lifestyle and feeling great. And Dr. Teresa Ulrich. Good morning, all. Hailing from Biloxi. Today on Hollywood Travels. That's a little bit different surrounding for you than usual, isn't it? Dr. Ulrich. Cynthia writes, anybody notice eating others cooking makes you feel bloated and thirsty? Yeah, we have to, yeah. Because you never quite know. Right? People sometimes they just don't know. They don't, a little bit won't hurt, or this makes it taste better. Yeah. So one has to be careful. And it's really nice when you encounter friends who host you at a dinner party or something, and they've gone to the trouble. And I've had this happen, and it's very touching, to prepare stuff without sugar, without breading, with, just very keto. I really love that. EH8489 writes, I have that green book and love it. Life is change. Judy Dullage, I had 3-hour drive to my family for Christmas and packed bacon and French eggs to get me there instead of stopping for fast food on the way. That way I wasn't starving when I arrived. What's a French egg? Interesting. I'm not familiar with that, but good planning. Yeah. What is French eggs? EH writes, I'm dealing with so much right now and lost my way. Uh-oh. This is said without judgment. In one episode of My 600-Pound Life, you will hear these things. I'm dealing with a lot now. Life came at me. I just don't have the energy to concentrate on this now. What's interesting, because it takes zero energy to not do something. It takes zero energy to not eat carbs. Now, it takes a mental energy. But when someone says, I'm just exhausted, I just don't have the energy. Okay, well, then do nothing, sit and don't eat right now. And I'm not trying to be judgy. I'm calling myself out. Cynthia writes, I drank bone broth before my visit 5 minutes away. Just wasn't that hungry. Excellent. Cynthia, live started at 10 a.m. EH84, I've been subscribed for 10 years. I'll check my settings. Yeah, and not every time, but often when there's an update, either on your own personal devices, YouTube makes changes, browsers make changes. So, Maura González, felices fiestas, Casey. Saludos desde Panamá. Muchas gracias, Maura. Igualmente. A ti. Judy Dallage, French eggs are like crustless quiche. Oh, interesting. Cali, Utah. Cold and rainy, 29 degrees in Utah. Coffee and Casey and all of you here makes for a good start to any morning. I'm thinking eggs when I get hungry today. Oh, and I've been pushing the peckishness recently. I was asked, what is peckishness? It's really just kind of the feeling, yeah, I'm peckish right now. I could eat, but I'm not hungry. And true hunger, when you're a fat burner, is different than when you're a sugar burner. It just is. And we have to learn what that is. So I'm peckish now. I don't know. I have to just see how I feel. But when I know, but I have been pushing the peckishness, not depriving myself. I'm not using the F word. I'm just pushing the peckishness. But I'm also being cognizant of how much I'm serving myself because I require less, and eating slowly is key. E.H. writes, he used to offer page 4 for free. Yeah, and people took it, bootlegged it, and then published it as his page 4. So he copyrighted it. But you don't need a food list. Fatty sources of protein, limited amounts of non-starchy vegetables, limited amounts of full-fat dairy. The food list is not the most important thing. The don't eat if you're not hungry is the most important thing. And stop when you've had enough. Linda Bridges, hello from Texas, cold and wet. E.H. writes, Casey, okay, you wrote Casey. It's actually Casey, C-A-S-E-Y. My name is Casey, C-A-S-E-Y. Casey, I'm making deviled eggs today. California here. Heidi Crane. Hi, Heidi. Hello from Minnesota. Foggy and 35. Minnesota. Cynthia, that was my only, quote, cheat. No, it's not my protocol. I call French eggs egg bites, right, Cynthia? Right. And that's, some people are really successful at meal prep, which can be a great tool, just like Judy, I think it was Judy, went with the bacon and the French eggs. You get prepared. And so there used to be, I really enjoyed her. We did a collaborative video, but I think she's just living her life. Bryndis girl from Iceland, running on keto, running on fat, something like that. And she would do videos. She was a single woman with a couple of cats, and she's a teacher and getting her master's degree. And she did meals on her weekly meal prep. So there's little egg bites, egg cups, make a bunch of them in a muffin tin. Some people will cook a tray of bacon for the week. Beef jerky. I've made beef jerky. We like it. I actually need to make some more. And just something that helps the decision making about what to eat right now easier, whatever that looks like for you. There are many paths that can lead to the same destination. E.H. writes, 2023, lost my daughter. I know what I have to do, but I need the push is why I'm here. Not an excuse, but I'm here trying to get my mojo back. Totally understand. And I can't even. So I won't try to imagine. Layla 903, yes, bacon, chips, and hard-boiled eggs. And it really can be done. When I was losing weight actively, and I was in, I wasn't go keto with Casey. I was working in my former career, and I would be, a lot of my work was not done in the office. I was out and about doing things, but when I would go to my office, I would say, God, Casey, you've lost weight. And yes, I have. One thing, I stopped saying, yes, I have, but I've got a long way to go, because that's really kind of insulting to the person who's trying to pay you a compliment. So I stopped saying that. I just said, thank you so much. Because they said, wow, you look great. I say, thank you. I feel great. Say, how did you do it? I said, well, I'll just cut way back on carbs. Oh, wow. You must be so proud of yourself. That must be so hard. And I honestly and truthfully said, actually, it's like the easiest thing I've ever done, because my mindset was right. I was no longer, my motivation was I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. And for those of you who are wondering, I'm on 0 medications. 0. Don't take a multivitamin. Don't take anything other than a teaspoon of cod liver oil. If you go to my blog and my favorite things, you can see the brand we like. Yeah, so many birds out there. Like I said, my blood glucose over the course of a 72. My A1C last time I had my blood work done, I think was 4.6. My triglycerides, I want to say like 54, and my HDL was 117. And I was approaching some bad medical situations before I started. If I can do this, you can do this. Jackie000 writes, good morning, everyone. And Cynthia writes, EH8489, my deepest condolences. Thank you, Cynthia, writes EH. Deborah Gregory, hi from Lexington, South Carolina. Found Dr. Westman 2 years, 8 months ago. I lost 55 pounds and have maintained for 2 years. I watch every week and thank you for your inspiration. Well, thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. Heidi Crane, maybe if I keep saying I'm stronger than a cookie, I'll actually start believing it. There's a truism in the mental health field that feelings follow behavior. So yes, if we start saying I am stronger than a cookie, get a mug that says it and look at it every day, or get a Post-it note and put it on your bathroom mirror. I'm stronger than a cookie, or whatever your challenge is. And then you will start to believe it, right? We can be so negative talking to ourselves. Let's turn that boat around. Cynthia, yes, I tell myself, don't feed the cat. As a reference, I had a craving. Well, cravings are like stray cats. And I always reference our late, great stray cat, Luna, who for most of the 17 years that she was here, we just stayed in our side yard and we fed her on the porch. She was a stray. She showed up one day. We got her fixed so there wouldn't be more strays. She declined to leave, so she stayed for 17 years. If you don't feed a craving, it won't come back. Cheryl Sullivan, hi, I think you missed my question earlier. Uh-oh. Cynthia, yes, I set my phone alarm so I can watch live. Nancy Fleeks, EH8489, thank you. EH writes, I've been watching you, Casey, since you started under the name. Oh, you were under the name Ellie. Oh, the way that reads is that I was under the name Ellie. I was trying to think, did I not you remember that name? Not sure if you remember that name. Heidi Crane, thank you, Casey, for continuing to do these Saturday morning inspiration videos. And I find that to be true. Don't feed the craving. And not you, right, CH. I am going to sign off. I want to clue you into something. I've really gone back and forth on this. If you look up at the top, you might see something that says 0/5. I've set a goal for super chats, which are something you just like do a chat and I don't know. I want to see. One thing is a way to gauge certain things, but anyway, this week it's done. But maybe next week I'll try it in a super chat. A super chat is your question gets pinned for one thing, and I have a goal because I want to do more production. And my goal is if I get to my goal of these 5 super chats, then I will commit to making food videos once a week in January. Okay, that's enough of that. That feels like propaganda and trying to sell you something. It's really not. Just trying to earn my keep. All right, friends. Thank you. Next time we speak, it'll be 2025. How about that? And and Amy Berger and I are doing the Amy and Casey show on January 7th, Tuesday evening, 6:30 Eastern. And I haven't posted it yet, but I'll post a link to it on my blog in different places. Amy will post it. If you follow me on Crowdcast, you should be able to find it as well. So that should be fun. I haven't seen her in a couple of months. Okay, guys. Don't let a cheat meal turn into a cheat day. Just don't cheat. And it's not cheating. Make good food decisions. That's the name of the game. Thanks. Bye.